If you are not running whitelisting ads on Meta, then you are potentially missing out on at least 2x improvement in your ad performance. Whitelisting ads are crushing it for us across the majority of our client accounts, and sometimes our whitelisting ads are outperforming our standard ads by up to 2x ROAS and at least half the CPA. So if you want to improve your ad performance and you are not yet running whitelisting ads, or maybe you're dabbling in it a little bit, maybe you've been running them for a while, this video is for you. I'm going to show you the background of whitelisting ads for those of you that are not aware of how it works. But for those of you that are aware of how that works, stick around because I'm going to show you the way that we do whitelisting, the setup, the structure of our agreements, how we make sure that whitelisting ads perform the best that they can, and more in this video, okay? So that's what we're gonna go through. Let's jump over to my screen and we'll go through it. All right, guys, so if you wanna run whitelisting ads like this one right here for Happy Mammoth, where you can see that the ad is being served from a different page. It's not being served from the brand page, it's being served from this community/publisher page, which just makes it look very native and organic. And you can see that the video
Happy Mammoth
is for Happy Mammoth, and the link is going to Happy Mammoth landing page, okay? So as I mentioned in the intro to this video, these ads are crushing it for us and our clients, and I'm gonna show you everything that we do with whitelisting, how to set it up, how to scale it, all that stuff, all right? So for those that aren't aware, whitelisting is when you run an ad from your ad account, but the page that you're using to serve the ad is a page that is not your brand page, okay? So just like we saw in the example, we're using somebody else's page to serve our ads. And usually, as I mentioned, you're whitelisting to a content creator, an influencer, or blog/reviews page. And you're the one that's paying for the ad to run, right? It's still running from your ad account. The only thing that's changing is the page that you select on the ad level, okay? You still have control over the landing page, you still have control over the ad copy that goes with the ad, everything, okay? So why should you do it? Well, very simple. It's performing really well for our clients at this time, right? And again, ads look more native and organic since they're being served through the creator publisher pages. They look less like ads, right? So I think that's a huge reason why they're working so well. So who do you white this with? We found that content creators with relatively low follower count, sub 10,000 followers on Instagram, who align with their target audience are the best for this. And small blogs or reviews pages, just like we saw here, where Happy Mammoth are using this women's health and more like kind of blog. You see that there's not a huge blog, it's like 6,000 likes. You know, a third-party unbiased reviewer, some sort of blog reviews page can also work really well. You don't have to go for like super, 100K follower accounts. Like that's just going to be expensive. And honestly, you can get the same, if not better results with accounts that have lower. Now, there is a place for those partnerships where if you are doing a partnership with like a well-known influencer in your space, then I would recommend setting up partnership ads, which are slightly different to whitelisting, but very similar. It just means that both of your names will be shown on the ad to add more trust. So how do you structure whitelisting agreements? Well, similar to a UGC agreement, right? You would structure it the same way, but the deliverables are set to whitelisting access instead, because you're not actually getting anything sent to you, right? You're just getting access. In the agreement, it's really important to include the time frame that you have access to their pages for. You want this to be in perpetuity unless the agreement is terminated, because what we found from experience is that if we're only doing okay, we're going to pay for 1 month and that's it, we have to rework the agreement. Maybe the creator asks for more money. We just want it to be as smooth as possible. Now, what we have done is we've done these trial periods, right? Where we would get access to 15 days or 1 month and pay a lower rate to almost test it out and see if it works. And then if it does work, then we agree on a monthly fee in perpetuity. Of course, you want to include the compensation structure for whitelisting ads. We usually pay a monthly fee for access, as I just mentioned. And you want to set up the agreement termination clauses to end the agreement in the case of the whitelister removes you from advertising access, right? This is really important because if they remove you halfway through the month and you still are paying them, then that is not a good situation to be in. Okay, so you want that there. And just in case you or they want to end the agreement at any time, you want to have a clause for that as well. Finally, you want to add a non-compete clause so that the creator that you're working with cannot work with brands that are competing with you, right? Because if they're whitelisting for them, they're whitelisting for you, it doesn't really make sense, right? Especially if the same customer is seeing those ads. So jumping over to the setup, like how do we actually set up these whitelisting ads? So the first thing you need to do is you need access to the creator or the publisher's Facebook and Instagram pages. Before getting access, you want to make sure that the creator has their Facebook and Instagram pages connected in their Meta Business Suite. So what we do is we will try and do as much as we can over email communication back and forth. We just send them a checklist where we just make sure that all these things are set. In some cases, you will need to jump on a quick screen share, quick call with the creator just to go through it if they can't figure it out on their end, right? So the first step is they need to connect their Facebook and Instagram pages in their Meta Business Suite. And you're going to see why this is important in just a moment. Then what we do is we get them to assign our or your business manager partner access to both pages with the following permissions. So in the Meta Business settings, the business manager settings, you want to get them to go to partners, add a new partner, enter your business manager ID. And then when they click next, you want them to select the Facebook page and the Instagram page. And for Facebook, you want pretty much all of the access, right? So all these toggled on. And then for Instagram, you want these toggled on, okay? And it's important that you have these permissions, as they will allow you to access the creator's inbox in Meta Business Suite and to hide delete comments on your ads. So I cannot stress the importance of this. If you do whitelisting, but you are not monitoring comments and the creator is not monitoring comments, and I wouldn't recommend getting the creator to monitor your comments. Do them yourself, have someone in your team do them. It's so important to do that, because bad comments are going to lead to low ad performance. You want to clean those up just as you would on your own ads, okay? So you want to treat it the same, and it's just important that you get this access. And going back to connecting Facebook and Instagram in their Meta Business Suite, that is because the reason why you do that is because you can access both the Facebook and Instagram inboxes where the comments come into in the Meta Business Suite, okay? So that's really, really important. So that is the setup. Make sure you have access to all those different areas. And then once you do, you are ready to start testing whitelisting ads. So how do you actually test whitelisting ads? So the first thing you need is content, right? And maybe it's a creator that you already have content with, which is a great start. It's much faster to get going. If you don't have any content from the creators that you want to whitelist with, then that is the first step, right? Send them products, send them a script, brief, get them to film some content, edit that content once you have it, and then start testing. So you want to test the content through your own pages and through whitelisting with that creator. The reason why is because we can A/B test this, and one might work, the other one might not, okay? We have content that through our own pages has not worked, but when we whitelist it, it does work. So you want to test both. And best case scenario is that both work, right? Now you have two ads that are working, and one is using your own pages, one is using whitelisting pages. You have diversified and spreaded risk. When you're testing these ads, you want to separate them in different ad sets, different campaigns. When you're doing this A/B test between pages and whitelisting, because you don't want them to be in the same ad set, because it's not a fair test, right? You can have a CBO with separate ad sets where you are adding minimum spend limits to the ad set level and therefore making sure the ad sets get enough spend. Or you could use an ABO and put the budget on the ad set level. We don't really use ABO nowadays, so that's just something to keep in mind. We use CBO, and we will test them with minimum daily spend limits on the ad sets. Once you find a winning creator, you want to double down and launch more ads to their pages and as whitelisting ads, right? Now, if you have one video, let's say, that's working really well through that creator's page, launch more, right? Launch 5, 10, however many you have, and however much your budget allows for, because you want to take advantage of that. Now, going back to the agreement, it's important that the agreement clearly outlines that you can launch as many ads through their pages as possible, right? There's no cap or limit on that. That is included as part of the monthly fee, okay? So comment management, as I mentioned, the ad comments will be on the whitelisters page, not on your page. So you will need to keep this in mind when managing comments. Make sure you get full access as we went through, just so that you can manage and comment on their behalf. Diversifying, just like you have multiple UGC creators, you should have multiple whitelisters you're testing and running with at the same time. The reason for this is to diversify and spread risk. If one of your whitelisters pulls out the agreement and you can no longer run whitelisting ads with them, you need to other options that are already live and working, okay? You also want 100% of your ads to be whitelisting ads, right? You should have a mix of non-whitelisting and whitelisting ads. Again, you want to spread risk. If the only thing that works for you is whitelisting ads, this is really, really risky, right? So while this whitelisting thing is a great strategy to increase ad performance, you don't want that to be the only thing that is working for you. If it is, then you have a problem. You still want to get your own ads through your own pages to work really well, right? So you should continue testing that, and you should continue launching those ads as well while you're testing whitelisting, right? Whitelisting is just another way to improve performance. It's a way of diversifying, it's a way of scaling, and that is the way we do it, okay? So a few more tips for your whitelisting ads. In terms of actually scaling your whitelisting ads, you can either do this in their own campaign, where you have a separate campaign per whitelister, or you can do it inside the campaign that has everything else in it, right? So we have found that both of these strategies work. It really depends on how much you're spending per whitelister. If a whitelister is really taking off and you're spending a few $1,000s a day just on that whitelister, then it may make more sense to separate those whitelisting ads out into their own campaign where you can have full focus on those. Now, the second tip I have is how do you actually find these creators that you whitelist with, right? That is a really, really important part of actually doing whitelisting. So we have found that Backstage.com, especially for the US and Canada, works really, really well for finding content creators that are high quality and are willing to whitelist with you, right? The prices of those creators aren't too crazy. I'm sure you guys have come across crazy prices from content creators, and the prices for them are actually reasonable because they're mainly actors who are using this platform. If you're in Australia or New Zealand, you can use Star Now. It is basically the same as Backstage.com. I think it's run by the same company because the back end and the platform looks exactly the same. So you can starnow.com, STARNOW.com, and you'll be able to do the same thing, right? Post a job and you'll get applicants for your role within 24 to 48 hours. And I'll leave both of those links below this video so that you can check them out. If you're in the UK or Europe, Backstage.com can still work for you. If you're more in like Europe, like Germany, Central Europe, Southern Europe, then you may want to try different platforms, right? Backstage may work. What we found is that Backstage, mainly US, Canada, UK, you can still get some Central and Southern Europe content creators on Backstage.com. It's just not the majority of them, okay? So just keep that in mind. So that is it for this whitelisting video. I hope you are able to implement this as soon as you can to start reaping the rewards of whitelisting ads and start improving your ad performance. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like, leave a comment down below letting me know what content you want to see, what you want me to do more of, and I'll be sure to answer and do more of that in the future. All right, thank you, and I'll see you in the next one.